Just a day before the National School Board Association wrote its letter to AG Merrick Garland to request that the DOJ investigate parents for presenting a domestic terror threat, North Carolina Superintendent Catherine Truitt and a couple of unelected members of the state school board, they issued a similar statement. Now, their statement cited safety concerns, and it accused parents of attending school board meetings and being violent, of intentionally inspiring fear, and of using hostility and threats of force when they went to school board meetings to protest endless mask mandates, critical race theory, and hardcore pornography that's now been given to children in schools across the state. Superintendent's memo used the same language as Roy Cooper did when he, just a week prior to her note, expressed his frustration at parents also protesting the mask mandate. Now, surprisingly, North Carolina's Attorney General Josh Stein is now piled on. He has first effusively thanked Superintendent Truitt for targeting parents, and he's following up with his own support of the DOJ, who is investigating parents for acts of violence which likely never occurred. Catherine Truitt's statement begins with this: as education leaders, we have a passion for serving students and in our commitment to providing all students and those serving with those students a safe environment. Truitt ends with this: our school district buildings should remain safe havens, and these acts of aggression cannot be tolerated. She's right. Schools should be safe havens, but they're anything but. Around the same time Truitt and Cooper were labeling parents as threats to schools, there were 2 school shootings, and one of them claimed the life of a child who was attending Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem. In May, a parent and 7 teenagers burst into a classroom in Greensboro and beat the hell out of a 14-year-old girl while teenagers and students looked on in horror. It took parents days to learn of the truth of what happened at that school in Greensboro. In August, the public began to learn about girls coming forward at Myers Park High School to report that they had been raped and sexually assaulted over a period of years. When they reported the incident, school administrators were reportedly shaming them and ignoring them. And even Charlotte Mecklenburg police were shaming them. And the principal, well, he was suspended with pay and eventually resigned. Recently in Oslo, a male student pushed a female down a flight of stairs, causing seriously bodily harm to the girl. Parents reportedly struggled to get information about what happened to their daughter from the school after this very serious tragedy. So in September, at Olympic High School, a student was charged with second-degree rape, kidnapping, and sexual battery of a female student. The student was allowed to play in a basketball game or football game anyway while he wore an ankle monitor. Talk about a slap in the face to the victim. Then, in August 1st, when female student athletes protested in solidarity with the rape victim, they were suspended from school. They were found, another football player, found evidence of him. He had committed a felony off campus, but he was also allowed to play on Olympics football team. And that's just not in the policy manual. That's not the rules. Is this justice? Absolutely not. Just last week, a high school 8th grader was beaten so badly by another student that the boy was taken to the hospital. He was there for 2 days. The boy said that several students beat him up because they wanted revenge for something his cousin was accused of doing. It's just terrible. Now let's talk about violence. Let's talk about hostility. Let's talk about instilling fear, intimidation, and acts of aggression on school campuses. The kind that the governor and the superintendent and the attorney general, they are supposed to be doing something about. And these are real victims. They'll be dealing with traumatic symptoms for the rest of their lives. These officials can't blame lack of equity or white supremacy for their shortcomings because they'll try it. These victims are Black, they're white, Hispanic, they're boys, they're girls. One thing that unites them is that they are all victims of a dangerously unsafe, safe state school system. Now, state school system officials are too busy targeting parents who are engaging in protected speech instead of solving the serious problems affecting the lives of families.